I always find it really interesting when you revisit a book, when you revisit a film, when you revisit a piece of fiction sometimes, when you revisit sort of semi-non-fiction, in this case, because it is a fictionalized non-fiction book, but it always fascinates me how things can sort of take on a new meaning when you're in a different stage of your life. And I think that can be a very powerful thing. I definitely don't think it's a great idea to reconsume the same things again and again and again and again, because that does lead to closed-mindedness. At the same time, revisiting something after a while with a fresh set of eyes, with a different perspective, or when you're just going through different life circumstances, can be incredibly powerful. A little while ago I made a video about this, The Wonder Society by Keri Smith, and it's a book that features this fictional society, and they follow the teachings of the writer Walt Whitman, with this idea that you'd go out and you'd sort of explore the world and use this fictional society really as a means to engaging with the world again. And when I first read it, sort of really took this on board as a way of sort of re-engaging with a certain sort of creative side of myself. It's actually a couple of years since I did that, since I read this and sort of really re-engaged with it, because I had read it years before that and not connected with it in the same way, I think. But I came across this again on my shelf, and although I'd read it a couple of times, I kind of just picked it up and had a flick through, and it made me really think, it made me really revisit the themes of the book and what the book's all about. And I always find it really, really interesting, and this is why I wanted to make this video. And this summer has been a very difficult summer for me, because I had COVID. I injured my back quite badly, which actually forced me to rethink a lot of the video gear that I use, which is, I think, a topic which is worthy of its own videos. Going through sickness, going through an injury, going through other stuff, all in a very short space of time, having to disconnect from my creative business as well, and feeling like I was sort of losing an element of control, feeling like I was floundering a little bit, because as a solo business person running a creative business, when you are out of action for an extended period of time, it can be quite scary, it can be quite unnerving. And so it was with my mind in that sort of state that I came across this book again. And it's odd when you're confined indoors and you can't sort of go wandering and can't interact with the world, as this book suggests, the sort of the slant that it takes. But that is where I found myself, and that's the sort of slant that it had. But yeah, I think revisiting this with fresh eyes, it really made me sort of appreciate the gains that I'd made through reading the book the first time. And I thought that was absolutely fascinating. Years ago, obviously, when I did it the first time, when I made the first video, I think I was very disconnected from nature. I spent a lot of time in the city. I spent a lot of time traveling to different places, sitting in conference rooms, training people, doing meetings, doing shoots in studios, that sort of stuff. But I really think I disconnected from what it is I love about what I do, which is connecting with the world out there, the world around me, connecting with other people, interacting with other people in new and strange ways, and of course, really learning about other people's stories and hearing the unique perspectives other people have on the world. And you can say it's very easy to get that from podcasts, to get that from movies, but there is something about going out there and experiencing it for yourself, which is incredibly unique. And ultimately, I think that's a huge part of the message of this book. It's sort of reconnecting with experiencing the world. For me, that's always taken many different forms. I love photography. I love getting out there and filming as well and capturing life as it goes by. I've always loved telling narrative stories, although that's something that has been left dormant for a while, which I do want to come back to, not necessarily in this video, but in my life, because I love the power of narrative film, and I believe I've got more to contribute in that space, and I do have some story ideas that are coming soon that I'm very excited about. So theoretically, I probably could have come up with all these ideas myself, and I think I was starting to come to these conclusions, but I think the catalyst of the filter of the ideas in this book really helped me sort of leap forward, which was incredibly exciting. It's really interesting for me as well, because this book doesn't necessarily encourage you to focus on any one activity, any one thing. What it encourages you to do is get out there into the world and open your mind to it and effectively be a sponge. And I did know that, and I think that's something I've taught other people in the past, and it's something from my acting career in the past, and just being a storyteller, you do sort of know intrinsically. But I think being stuck in a rut and doing the same thing again and again and again, and being stuck in a certain type of communication, which I was in my previous role, And I had been a little bit with my business, perhaps. Even after that, I think what this helped me do is take some of the other threads from my life and weave them back into this and make sure I was taking my business and taking my personal life and taking my personal work in the right direction. And again, once I was mobile, sort of reconnecting with the world and getting a chance to wander and explore and slowly sort of reintegrate back into it after I was really out of action was an incredibly powerful thing. And I mentioned a few threads from both my business life and my personal life. So obviously there's the corporate storytelling that I've been working on quite some time. I've been also working on a couple of passion project documentaries in the background too. And I had all that sort of stuff whirling around in my head. But completely outside that, the personal side that kind of wove into this was how much over the last couple of years I've been really getting into exposing myself to new types of art and art in all its different forms. I think for a long time I was obsessed with cinema and obsessed with television to a degree as well, and would use those as my primary sources of kind of influence, and books too. I love the unique ability of the written word to let your brain sort of fill in the blanks in a way that perhaps film and other visual mediums don't do as much, although I definitely think they do help inspire creativity too. And I guess surrounding myself with art, visiting galleries, visiting installations, seeking out different forms of art, I guess, then has really helped feed back into what I want to do with some of my work and even what I do with this channel. I'm still in a little bit of pain. My lower back is still not 100%, still going through scans and figuring out exactly what's wrong with it. So it's going to be a while before I can get out there and realize some of these dreams that I have for some of this stuff. But I definitely I wanted to revisit this because I definitely credit the Wonder Society. I'm going to stop waving it at the camera. I think you get the picture. But I definitely credit the Wonder Society with helping me catalyze these thoughts and sort of head in a new direction. Everything from just how I approach the gear that I use through to some of the ideas I have for what I want to create and the direction I want to follow, both with my corporate work and this channel, have really been assisted by revisiting this book. And I thought it'd be interesting to then revisit the book on here as well. I'd love to hear from people and see how your experience has been with it, and if there are other books, other pieces of art even, that have inspired you in that way. I came across a book this summer as well that I've read and I've really loved, which I think is this wonderful companion piece to the Wonder Society. I should have had it in my lap here, but it's right here. It's called Think Like an Artist, and my very next video is going to be about this book. So if you want to watch that, well, basically click right here, right now, and I hope you enjoy it. Take care.